was Vernon and I had a dog together. We co-parented a dog that we adored, Bo Blue. And when I married Vernon,
no,
I mean Tony.
That's a problem
Calling
right
somebody
there.
else's name. If it was a female, bro, a black female, bro, that would have been the end of her. That would have been the end. Gentlemen, we need to have control over the final decisions in our house. Call me sexist. I don't think that's sexist, but let's go ahead and check it out. Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Gentleman Find the True Sick Understanding and Be the Light. It's your boy Big Blue. You know what's interesting? I was literally sitting down with my daughter yesterday and we were watching Family Feud. And the craziest thing had came up. Not the craziest thing, but something that was interesting. So the two families came in and Harvey's telling them to introduce. It was a man, his wife, his daughter, his ex-wife, and her husband. They were all on Family Feud. You could take a wild guess the, ethnicity of these individuals. I don't really see much black people doing this, but let me just go ahead and continue. And again, that's not being racist. I only see this happening with, the Caucasians. This, unless I'm proven otherwise. But it was just interesting that just caught me off guard seeing that. And there's an unrelational thing that can happen. And based off of the divorce, I mean, you could still have friendships, I guess. It's a slippery slope to me. It's a slippery slope to me because that leaves grounds for like a whole bunch of temptations to run around unless you're genuinely friends with that person. But then who could really anyways, so much crap that can go on with that just alone. So this this was yesterday. We saw this and and this is probably in relation to the same thing because she sent me this today while I was at work and I had a whole list of videos that I had to do today, but then this came up and I'm like, okay, I have to bring this up now because this is just crazy. Maybe it's me. Y'all let me know if I'm crazy about thinking about this or the way that I'm looking at this. So let's just go ahead and get right into it.
This is my current husband, Tony, of 8 years. This is my ex-husband that I divorced in 2003, and we all lived together. Wow. Now, this is how... I didn't even catch that the first time. That alone was like, yo, what are you doing, bro? This is just me personally. I don't know. Let's just keep going. How it happened.
Wait. What did you say?
We all lived together. My two husbands.
Well, all right.
So this is not a sister wives,
Right. No. I'm confused. So how this transpired was Vernon and I had a dog together. We co-parented a dog that we adored, Bo Blue. And when I married Tony.
That's a problem
Calling
right
somebody
there.
else's name. If it was a female, bro, a black female, bro, that would have been the end of her. That would have been the end. Call a black female another female's name, yo. That would have been the end. But no, it's all right if it's a woman. Yep, I see that.
When I married Tony,
yes,
Vernon would come and walk the dog like several times a week and even walk our dog too, right? So before I knew it, we gave him a key, let him come and go as he wanted. We trusted him. We've always been friends. It was an amicable divorce. And then he was down on his luck. And so Tony was kind enough to allow him to.
And you can kind of tell, I can't really tell his facial expression, but it looks like he's ready to say something. I'm getting uncomfortable vibes here. He's just a goofball. But he's giving me slight uncomfortable vibes.
Move in and not rent a room. He stayed for a year for free.
Wow.
And so he was great at walking the dogs and taking care of the house and all that stuff. So then he moved out after a year of being rent free and he moved down the street and he was in an unsavory place and I was worried about him. Mm-hmm. So I said, Vernon, maybe you should come back until you find something better. Okay. So he came back. He's been there for 4.5 years, and our dog is now passed away in heaven.
Not 4.5.
4.5. Tell me, it seems like 10.
2014.
Anyway, so we asked him in August, Steve, if he would move out in November 1st, and it's driving me crazy more than it is my husband. I'm ready to pull my hair out. He's on my nerves. Imagine being married, living with your ex-husband.
No,
like, divorced.
no, that wouldn't happen.
No, we can't imagine.
No, at all.
Anyway, it's crazy, right? But he's a macho Latino, and he's a gentle giant, and he's not threatened at all by him, and he knows we are way over.
Can I say something? I showed up Sunday at her place back in 2012, and then Tony came to the room and said, "Stay here to get your crap together," and he didn't charge me anything.
Genuine heart.
Now, after about 10 3/4 months, I correct it.
It's crazy. The more I think about it, I'm just like, and maybe it's because of past experiences, but the more I think about it, the more I'm just like, yeah, no, that would not. I would have to have a serious change of heart to be like, oh yeah, you can come and stay at my house where my wife. Okay.
It's time to go, Vern. You got to get out of here.
Right.
Okay? That's fine. You're right. So I got a place down the road, and the people I was living with were smoking meth and had rabbits in the living room. And then she said, "We're going to invite you back." I said, "Heck yeah, I'll go back there in that environment."
It was all temporary. It was all based on
But
temporary.
she has mentioned about me, but he hasn't stepped up and said, "I had this discussion with Tony. Like, I don't listen to her, okay? Because we don't listen to each other, but we're all friends." So
You don't listen to her.
I don't listen
And
to
it's
her.
her house.
As far as well, he doesn't either.
Y'all got to be kidding me. This really can't be real.
It is.
No, this can't possibly be real.
It is.
Tony want him out, you want him out,
Right.
and Vernon said, "I need to get out."
Right.
We all in agreement, but ain't nobody left yet. What I don't understand.
Get out. Get out. Tony,
Get it to
Anyway.
me, please.
disrespecting your wife right in front of
First
you.
of all, my wife will say one day, "You think we should have him go?" And then next day she goes, "I can't stand him. He's got to leave." So she tells me different things all the time.
But I want to know.
Okay.
Look, I could kick him out tomorrow.
Do it.
Kick him out. What is going on? Kick him out.
Hey, what you're not gonna do is turn my nice show into Jerry Springer. You're gonna stop all that chanting right now.
Your compassion is misdirected.
man.
Your compassion for Vernon, I get that. But it's like with children. Vernon is acting a little bit like a little child. Okay, but you can't. It's gonna cost you and Tony.
Right.
It's gonna cost you and Tony.
Yeah.
How do we get him out?
Just get him out.
Don't take a date.
Pack his rags and put him outside of the door and
Right.
change the lock
Exactly.
and say bye, Felicia.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He will do that.
You do it. You do it.
I could be a hard guy and do all that, but I don't want to do it that way.
This is the thing. I think what's going on is you're too comfortable. And Vernon, you're too comfortable, baby. You've got the best personality. I'm sitting here looking at you so fun. Heck, I know people that would date you. Call me. I can hook you up. You need to go. You need to go. You need to move out because you're missing your life.
But Tony needs to be a man.
Okay.
Let me tell you, your wife has already confused your names like 3 or 4 times already. That's not a good sign at all. You need to be a man, put your foot down, and be in control of your household.
I don't think that makes me a man or not. And believe me, I'm very much in control
You know
of my
what?
house.
On Monday,
What do we have going on here? There's so much going on here. Okay. And this, like, I think way too much. I think more than about just a lot of things, a lot of situations. I kind of try to play scenarios in my head about certain things. Just, I guess, be prepared if something were to happen. I could not imagine. Okay, here's an instance. So I'm cool with my wife's exes, which is interesting. One of them, bass player, also a bass player as well. Times and keys musician, great musician. And, I see him every now and then, especially like if we have, unfortunately, usually for funerals, and he's playing, then I just so happen to be playing as well. And, we chop it up. He teaches me some stuff, all that good jazz, because it's all good. This was years ago. This was way before we even got married. This was, before, we started dating and all that stuff. Another one was next. He was there. He ended up going to the same school as me. There was a little more animosity, but at the end of the day, I just let it go. And I'm like, I can't really see a situation in which you would be a hindrance to my relationship anymore. And we were in school. We were both in the same class. And then, we just, at that time, we needed each other. We weren't, buddy and whatnot. But when it came to class and actually trying to pass, we were working amongst each other, trying to get, trying to pass the class. And it's interesting because after we had graduated, he ended up getting a job at one of the colleges, IT job with one of the colleges. And, you know, he tried to get me to hook up. It didn't work out. But, you know, it is what it is. This is getting a point where you're past, you know, the issues that come about. Now, never would do this. Never. Even though I can tell that my wife, I trust my wife enough to know that she wouldn't try anything to work with, to hinder our relationship, or, you know, fall into temptation in our relationship. I don't know him well enough to see if he would do such a thing. And even then, we are humans, and we shouldn't be putting ourselves in tempting situations in the first place. You see what I'm saying? So much how I like, even with me and the many temptations that run through my head just alone on a daily, I would not purposefully put myself in a situation where I could easily be tempted. It's just point blank period. Now, some people don't think that deep. Some people don't care that deep. I don't think they care that deep. But like she said, I guess their relationship is just good enough to where, I don't know, they can make this work out. And maybe there hasn't been any, you know, craziness going on in the house. I don't know. I'd rather not know. But for me personally, I would not want to get in this situation. Now, for Tony, this is what I was saying before when it comes to, and this is what, I forget what her name. I think she's the one that's from the Jamie Foxx show. Yeah, she's the Haitian. Yeah, she's the Haitian lady. Yeah, I remember her. She hasn't aged that much. That's good. The thing about Tony is that he can say that doesn't dictate me being a man or not. But what I'm coming to realize is that, and this is something that I still struggle with. Not this situation, but this is something where I also still struggle with when it comes to making decisions in a household. As the sole protector of the house and, you know, kind of the head of the household, you are still equal to your wife, but as far as duties and roles, you are the head of the household. You have to make final decisions. And when we let females make decisions, as we could tell, she's one way one day, and then the other way the next day, and there's no final decision that's being made. We have to decide easily. We have to be able to make that final decision and be clear with it and be like, all right, this is what we're doing. We're standing 10 toes. You already agreed at 1 second. So we're sticking with that because you can't make up your mind. I'm going to make the decision. It's completely okay to allow the females, to allow the wives to make decisions. I'm completely for that. I'm not saying that, oh, women can't make no decisions. You just got to be barefoot in the kitchen. No. We have discussions. We talk about things. She gives her perspective. I give my perspective, all these type of things. But at the end of the day, if she brings up something that makes sense, that is valid, I didn't think about it, and it seems like the best option, then yes, we'll go with it. But if we're in this type of situation where there's a bunch of back and forth and, you know, no concise answer because the mood changes based off of the other individual who shouldn't be in this household to begin with, because he's not married to me, why is another man that I used to be with living in my house? That should be decided by the man at that point. We need to come up with a decision because now we have this entity that is here because nobody wants to make a decision. And he's definitely not making a decision because, like they established, he's comfortable. So with that being said, this is where it's important. I understand a lot of men don't want to sit here and make decisions. And again, I still struggle with this as well. I still let a lot of decisions just go and just be like, whatever. Then it always bites me in the behind afterwards. So now I'm trying to I'm definitely doing better in being able to make better decisions or being able to just say, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go with this. We're going to go with that. Especially like when it comes to like just random small stuff where it's like back and forth. There was a conversation that we were having where my wife was saying one thing and then a couple of days later she would, you know, say something else. And then a couple of days later she would say something. And the whole time I'm just like, I don't care. Just choose. And she couldn't choose. And then I'm like, you know what? Forget about it. Fine. I'm going to choose. And now we're chosen, and now we're sticking with it. And now she keeps coming back at me with, well, what about, the other thing that I said? Nope, we already decided. And that's just it. And whether my decision was the best decision or not, at the end of the day, the head of the household made the decision, and she was partially okay with it. If she's not 100%, well, maybe, that's just a conversation. We can't keep coming up with answers and say one thing and then the next day say something else. If it's still a thought, then let it still be a thought. If you're still trying to figure it out, then let's continue to try to figure out, but come up with a solution quickly. But there's no solution being made, or there's a solution that's being said and then a new solution comes up and then we're just jumping back and forth. I'm a record on repeat at this point. You guys know exactly what it is that I'm saying. That is just crazy. The situation, which is interesting, it was Steve Harvey again, but the situation with Family Feud and the family just being with the exes and even having the ex's husband also in there as well. If your relationship is like that, great. This, you can be friends. Y'all can be cool, I guess. If the relationship is definitely like not there anymore, but him living in the house is crazy. Him getting comfortable with living in the house is crazy. Your wife being concerned for another grown man's well-being. I think it was generous. I think it was generous of enough for Tony to allow him to stay the first time until he got his stuff together. But for him to stay for another 4 years and to be undecided, I think that's where the issue starts. They definitely have the heart. And can you say that's a Christian thing to do? One can say that's a Christian thing to do, but he definitely as a man needs to go and do what it is that he needs to and figure things out. But y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all think. I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Take it easy, peace.